Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Welcome back to the Misunderstood Show. Today we have my favorite guest again, my husband Casey Hoffman, and we are going to finish telling our story because it was hard to tell our story in 1 hour, and I was rushing, and I really only got to tell my side, and he didn't get to really tell his point of view. And I forgot a very important story, and so I wanted to make sure that we got to tell that story. This is one of my favorite moments in our...
Really? Your favorite?
Mm-hmm. It was adorable.
I didn't really know that. You felt that way about that. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. How do you feel about it?
Well, why don't you just go ahead and tell it?
I would like for you to tell me how you felt about it.
Well, I kind of felt humiliated because I did something that didn't land very good. So, I mean,
Literally.
How else would anybody feel if they tried to make a move and it got dashed?
Yeah.
Or it wasn't on time,
Yeah.
you should say.
So the first night you stayed at the house, we drank a couple beers, and we're sitting on the back porch just chit-chatting, and you tried to kiss me, and I was just
shocked.
I definitely wasn't expecting it, and my natural reaction was to dodge you because I had other dudes try to kiss me. We won't name names. It was soon. I barely knew you. I wasn't ready.
Yeah, so to kind of overlay a little bit of what this is the night that we went to the Angry Cactus, and I ended up driving you back to Tarrant.
First day we met.
We stopped and got a 6-pack of beer. We were on the back patio, and we had been talking, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes. I don't know how long it was. It was a little while, but we were both sitting right beside each other, and we were, I don't know, chatting it up and getting along and laughing and stuff like that. And I thought that would be a pretty good opportunity to land a kiss.
Yeah, I'm not a first date kiss girl.
And apparently not. And what happened?
Well, I freaked me out. So I just naturally reacted because we were sitting side by side.
Yeah, shoulder to shoulder.
And you kind of came in this way, and I went like that, and you just kind of missed.
Yeah.
It was like a boo.
No, I kissed your cheek.
Well, sort of. It wasn't like a...
You were still moving.
Purposeful
It was
landing.
A ricochet kiss.
Yeah, it was definitely like a hard landing, like Spirit Airline or something.
I don't even remember. Do you remember what happened right after that? I just felt really awkward after that.
I don't remember, honestly.
We got past it pretty quick, though.
Yeah, I think we laughed. I mean, I laughed, I'm sure.
Yeah, I hope I laughed.
I think you were embarrassed, and I knew it. And we probably just kept or changed subject. I don't even remember. Taryn was there, too, because I remember she drank a couple beers with us, or she drank a beer with us when we showed up. Didn't she?
5 years ago. I've slept a lot since then, so I don't
she was
remember
there. I'm
her
pretty
being
sure. Yeah, she
maybe
was.
for like the first beer or something.
Yeah,
but she left early.
And then she went in or whatever. Because it was a weekday and she had to go to work the next day.
Yeah,
I'm sure early. And yeah, I do love that story though. It's adorable. It's like one of those cheesy like movie scenes where the guy tries to kiss the girl and she.
Yeah, it sounds like something Ben Stiller would do or something. Just kind of be awkward in the moment trying to make a first move. And
it was cute though, because I don't know. I mean, I'm very kind of dorky. it's
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
love
you are.
about me. It's
Mhm.
endearing, I guess.
Mhm.
But you're a little bit dorky too.
Mhm.
And that's what I liked about it, is that you're not Rico Suave. That's a red flag for me. The
Yeah.
guy that's like, very charming and knows how to,
The story of two dorks in the first kiss.
yeah, it's adorable. I think it's adorable.
Okay, I'll take that.
But then you
That's
kissed me
better.
the next day and it was fine.
I wouldn't say I kissed you later on that night or that next morning.
Mm-hmm.
So did we tell the story about the sleeping arrangements and stuff like that?
We did. How you ended up, because the
Yeah.
the
You
office
moving
was
in, the
full.
office full.
I don't think we told that whole story. I think we did get off subject a little bit because
That
Taryn
happens.
had just gotten rid of her couches because she was getting new couches. And I'm pretty sure I maybe she had to give her couch. No, she moved the couch. She moved some into her theater room, but I think maybe she gave some of her couches because she had theater room and a living room. Maybe her ex took them.
Anyway, there wasn't a
But
place
she had
for
to
me
get new
sit.
couches. So, because the next time you came to visit, you went and picked up couches
Mhm.
in your truck.
Mhm.
Because we didn't have a truck. I had a Tahoe and she had an SUV. So, yeah. So you ended up having to sleep in the room with me. And I was like, don't try anything.
Nothing happened.
I will
I didn't
cut your arm off.
after the ricochet landing of my lips on your cheek. I didn't try to do anything else. And
But some
I
guys would
wasn't-
keep trying. I mean, some guys
No.
are persistent. And
No.
so I wouldn't have let you sleep in there with me if I felt like you were that way. Plus, Taryn was there, and we owned a lot of guns at the time. She had guns, I had guns. She kept a gun by the front door, remember?
shotgun.
Yeah, a shotgun. But, I mean, we're both big, too. We're not little girls. She's like 5'10", size 11 shoe.
Yeah.
She's pretty tough. I mean, we would maul you.
So did we didn't say anything about the first 4 days. If we want to scope into that a little bit.
Well, we did. We talked about
Hanging out.
going and seeing the job sites.
Right.
I took you, our first, lunch date to Wildflower Cafe in Sattler.
Yeah.
I love that restaurant.
So I up and go on a date on a Monday night, and I don't show back up to the farm until Thursday.
Wednesday. No, you're right. There's Thursday.
Thursday.
Because you stayed Monday night, Tuesday night. No, it was Wednesday. Because it was only 2 nights.
Tuesday night, 2 nights.
It was 3 days, 2 nights. You went back Wednesday. I thought it was a Wednesday.
Okay. Anyway, it was Wednesday, so I have.
Because I think I have a big event that Thursday is why I remember that for real estate. Real estate
Okay.
events are always on Thursdays.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I remember you got up in that morning and you had to go back to the farm because your brother needed you and your mom was freaking out, right?
Well, they were just wondering what the heck was going on. They didn't know you. That I kind of left on a very big whim. I'd been at the farm since April the 30th, and I hadn't left. We went on a small trip to Corpus, but I went with them. So
The story you told me in our first conversation where you told me you threw a empty bottle into the ocean.
Yeah.
And I got mad at you because I was like, what? You polluted?
Yeah.
And you're
Another
like,
red flag.
sorry.
But anyway, yeah, that was an interesting 3 days, and I put my whole family on edge. And when I got back, I obviously explained to them, and I had called them. It's not like I just completely ghosted them. I was texting them.
I mean, your mom and your sister were blowing your phone up.
The next day, because they were like, "Where are you at? What are you doing?" Well, it was not very. It was way out of my character to do.
You know
something
what?
like
Maybe
that. Even
you-
for my whole life, I don't think I've ever done that. So
Maybe you did leave Thursday morning because now I remember.
Yeah.
You're right. Because Tuesday we went and saw the job sites. Wednesday I put a contract on a house, and I had to go to San Antonio and get something done, like a background check or a headshot or something for my landscaping license. Maybe
no, you had to get your carry license. That's what we went and got. But anyway, that's
okay.
Either way,
But I
went-
remember being there at the place, and that's when your mom was like freaking out, calling you because you've been gone for 2 days.
Well, that was when we were at Sunflower. Well, that's when Bridget was calling me. Either way,
Wildflower?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about when your mom, anyway. Yeah, I just remember being at that place
Yeah.
in San Antonio. It was like a government place. They're always
Yeah.
like cold and creepy.
You got your concealed carry license and you were picking that up or something. I
Maybe.
believe.
And then your mom, you're like, my mom's kind of freaking out. I need to call her. And you went outside to talk to her because she was getting upset.
My mom's a worrier. So.
Which I was like, dude, he's like 30. How old were you? 38? Yeah. I'm like, he's 38 years old.
Yeah.
But I get it now. Like, and I know your family, and I know how tight you were. And you were living.
Out of my character.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to explain. It was
They were
way
concerned.
out of my character. I had never
Like,
done anything like that. I'd been there all summer. Go ahead.
No.
And it was just a crazy kind of whim. And yes, they even told me, you're a grown-ass man. You can make your own decisions. And I called him and reassured him that everything was okay. But at the same time, it was like, when you coming home? And I'm like, in a couple of days. I'm going to hang out down here and see what's going on. And we didn't have anything going on at the farm, so it's not like I was putting a major strain on anything back there. So I had the free time to do so. So,
but you did have to call your brother and ask him, because I remember when we were still at the Angry Cactus, you called him to make sure.
Yeah, I wanted to let him know before I just hightailed it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be completely rude about it.
So you left, and then I thought I'd never see you again. You drove off. No, I really didn't. And then we just ended up talking every single day. Yeah. And then I went to the farm to meet the family, and I was again.
That's like 2 weeks later. Or a month later?
I think it was like a month.
A month later?
Yeah, because you came back again.
I came back down. I came back down one time. Then you came back up, and then you met. It was and one of your big markers was to meet my family and my mother to see what kind of person I was, or who my mother was.
Well, and it was like
come to find out that is a big signal of who you are, is who your parents are.
Oh, so. I know. I don't want a bad
There's
mother.
There's a lot of telltale signs if you meet parents and how they interact.
Especially the mom. So. Like, I didn't want to deal with another crazy mother-in-law.
Yeah.
So, but I was nervous, and I was a little still freaked out about going to the farm out in the middle of nowhere. So I took Crystal with me.
Yep. You brought a friend. You brought Crystal. We went. What did we do? We
hung out in the pool a lot. Mm-hmm. And then we were supposed to go on the boat. And then on the way, we got a call because
my nephew ran into a pole while he was wakeboarding on Lake Nasworthy.
And
that's right.
Had a bad concussion, ended up in the hospital, and we had to go to the hospital. And then his girlfriend called while me and Crystal were sitting in the car by ourselves. And I thought it was like a 12-year-old boy. And they're like, oh no, that's his girlfriend. Sounded like Kaysen. I was like, what? I mean, not that she sounded like a boy, it just sounded like a kid. And she kind of had like a raspier type voice.
Small person. But anyway, after that, we went to Bridget's house. That's what we did.
We went to Bridget's, and that's the first time I met your mom. Was actually at Bridget's house. Mm-hmm. And she walked right up to me, and she gave me a piece of her mind about how she felt about how you took off. And I'm like, I didn't do anything. Like, I guess she thought I put a spell on you or something. Mm-hmm. She scared me. She can be a little aggressive. She doesn't play. She looks like this little sweet lady, but if you get on her bad side.
Well, if you do something that she thinks is a little questionable, she'll put you in your place, or she'll put you on notice and let you know.
She scared me.
She'll set a healthy boundary.
Then I was like, oh God, is this bad? And I told Crystal, and Crystal was like, dude, that's her son. Like, he took off for 3 days. She was concerned about him. I'm like, but I didn't have anything to do with, I didn't make him. I didn't coax him into anything. Yeah. And she's like, it's just his mom. But after that, she was like, we're cool. Like, she was super nice to me after that, even the rest of the day. So it wasn't like she was, and then that's when I was sitting on the porch with Crystal, and I walked inside to get like a drink or something, and Bridget had been drinking, and she was like, oh, here comes something. She said something about Casey's in love or something. And I was like, what?
You blushed big time. Bridget's my sister, by the way.
Yeah. She was like, oh yeah, Casey's in head over heels in love or something. I was like, what? Like,
I don't think it was that. I think it was like, y'all are in love and you blushed. It was something to that effect. Whatever
No,
to
she
lead up.
said Casey's in love, or Casey is
I don't
head over
remember
heels
being
in
that way.
love or something. And I was like, what? And because we hadn't said anything like that. And I walked back out, so straight outside, and I was like, oh my God, Crystal. And she was like, what? And I'm like, she's saying that he's in love with me. And she was like, so? And I'm like, dude, I barely know this guy. I've only known him like a month. Like, that's weird. Why is his sister saying that? She's like, well, it's his sister. That's what I don't have any sisters. So, my brothers would never do something like that. I don't understand sometimes how girls are, because I never was around girls very much. But it just was, it made me have real bad anxiety. And I could feel my blood pressure go all the way to the roof. I just felt like the blood was in my face and my head, and my heart was just like pounding. I was like, I cannot believe she just said that in front of everybody. Your mother, everybody was there. Shakia, Shannon.
We were at the end of a table, and she and I were talking, and you walked up, and then, yeah.
She was in the kitchen. I don't know. She's having a good time.
Yeah.
I miss going over to her house. She has such a cool, and she has a pool now, right? Yeah, we need to go over there and get the pool. But anyway,
So a month after you met my parents, and then after that, we continued to, go back and forth. I would come down to Spring Branch to see you and see. Hold on.
You moved though.
July 20th was, and that's what I'm getting to. July 20th, and then August 20th, the school had already started. So during these probably during that month, that's when Justin had reached out and got me some, I think there's 2 interviews in a day. So I had an interview in the New Braunfels area to move there because I couldn't find a job in Houston. Back to the part 1 of the podcast.
Yeah,
so
we talked about all of that.
Filling that in. But meantime, got a job, bought a trailer, an RV, moved it to Canyon Lake, lived there for...
But I want to backtrack because
What?
we've already talked about all that. And so really what I want, people, if they listen to the first show, they're going to know all those details already. What I really like to do is hear your perspective from the beginning, because really it was just me telling my perspective. And I was going to do my people want to hear
from there on.
People want to hear your perspective from the beginning, because it was just my perspective mostly.
So like whenever we start from the dating app,
how did you even like how you got on Farmers Only, like your whole perspective, because it, I was telling my whole story about how I got on Farmers Only and playing around with Brittany, but we didn't really understand. People are like, well, how did he end up on Farmers? Why was he on Farmers Only?
Desperation for a job, basically. So I had been
kind of like what Dick said. You were looking for people.
Yeah, looking for people. So it was desperation to find a job. So my kids and my ex-wife moved down here in 2018, and I was talking to everybody I knew to find a job, plus ZipRecruiter and all the things that you do to try to find a job digitally. But I was just trying to meet people and ask around and, make friends. There's websites, I think, that are sites that you can just have like meetup groups and stuff like that, but they're kind of really cheesy. So Farmers Only was like, I'm just going to try to find a farm or somebody needs help. Just networking tool is kind of what I was using it. It wasn't any kind of sly backdoor to try to find employment or a girl, which, if you give it to God, it'll humble you in the end. But that's exactly what it is. And that's how our conversation started off. So I was on there trying to find people down here in this area. That's why I put the zip code, and it was popped up as Panther Creek, which is actually a housing development, not even a city in the Woodlands, which is kind of weird. So kind of throwing everything off, hard to explain or kind of digest whenever you, especially from your perspective, saying that I'm in Panther Creek, you're thinking around Coleman, what? Anyway, that's
and then Spring Branch, and Spring Branch is in Houston, but I was in Spring Branch, Texas.
Yeah, there was a lot of, and that's the whole 4 hours on the phone the first day, that Sunday, where all of that kind of just kind of like far out, and kind of you put dots together, and they're kind of, weird, strange timing, all kinds of stuff that kind of comes together. So, I mean, that's basically all I was trying to do, is to find any and everybody. I mean, I would meet a stranger in Walmart in Stangelo and, talk to somebody or anybody that I knew. Hey, do y'all know anybody in Houston or that works in Houston? And I would segue into, hey, I'm looking for a job. I was trying to get down there. So that's because I didn't want to have to commute again from the farm to Houston or to the Woodlands to see my kids.
So it's funny because the show is called The Misunderstood Show. What really brought us together was a whole bunch of misunderstandings.
Yeah, a bunch. Yeah, a lot of misunderstandings.
And I really want to kind of explain to people too why you can find out. It's not because you don't have a good work history or experience. Casey has a degree from TCU, as most of y'all know if you'll listen to his sustainable ranching episode, which we need to have you come back on and talk more about that, because people are like, I need to know how to actually plant plants and make them grow. But you have that degree and you did that for several years. Mm-hmm. And then your ex-wife, I guess, wanted to move to Fort Worth to pursue her career. And so you were like, I
wanted to get out of the job that I was in because I had a terrible boss on a ranch.
But why didn't you just go find another job at another ranch?
Well, because she already had a good job, and we
needed
to bank on that, and I wanted to go back to school. So my second degree is a industrial engineering management degree. So I went to work for a galvanizer as a manufacturing engineer.
And you worked for a big company called AZZ for how many years?
4 years.
4 years.
Yep.
And then they had a big layoff,
mm-hmm.
and you were one of them. Mm-hmm. And apparently you kind of got thrown under the bus by somebody else. I kind of think is what you told me. There was like a cutthroat guy at the top. I don't know.
Yeah, there was a VP.
There's always,
he actually got laid off like a month after I did. My boss got laid off 3 months before. Anyway, so it's not like I was damaged.
Right.
Goods.
So you
just had
lost that job in like 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just took whatever you could find.
Yeah. I drew unemployment.
Because that's when exactly at that time is when your ex-wife moved to the Woodlands. She took a job here.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like devastated because you lost your job. Your kids moved.
That happened in the same week.
It was all out of your control.
Yeah.
And I know it was really hard on you. And then you just took this other job as kind of like a heavy equipment operator just to make ends meet, but it didn't really pay anything. So you're really overqualified for it, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when COVID hit and you were like, I'm going to the farm. I'm out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of like, bye. But again, you're trying to find a job. Now it's COVID. You can't find a job now because now it's COVID. And I just want to explain to people, I couldn't understand why people can't find a job. I've always been able to find a job. But I'm in sales, so it's a lot easier. Everybody's desperate for salespeople because salespeople just don't last because sales is hard.
Yeah, high turnover
and
rate.
people usually in the sales industry, the upper people are not very good to you. You're treated like, there's moving targets and sales quotas and they don't care and they treat you just kind of bad. So anyway, that's off the subject. It's not like you're going to go get a sales job. Anybody can go get a sales job. You would be great in sales, but you wanted a real job and you probably don't want to do sales because you're smarter than that and you're a good person.
Well, thank you for whatever that's worth.
So I just want to say, like, I was like, I don't understand. Well, one time I saw your resume, I guess it was sitting on your desk or something. I looked at it and I'm reading through it and I'm like, no wonder you can't find a job. This is what overqualified means, for one. But two, you got to dumb this thing down. Like, it was just way too much information. It was like, just words, a lot of words. And I feel like you were trying to take a job with a lesser qualifications.
I was trying to find a job that would actually sustain me too, because I'm a single man. I got to be able to buy a house and live too in this area.
But your qualification, you're still like working a job that you're overqualified for. The point I'm trying to make is that you were willing to take a job that really wasn't like the job you qualified for. You were like, I can take a job that pays a little less and work my way up, because it's hard to get jobs up here because they usually promote within, right? So you got to take this job and work your way up.
Mm-hmm.
Those jobs are already always taken, and people don't typically leave that job once they get up there, right? Because they're making really good money. they've been there for a while. If they've made it that far, they've probably been there long enough to know whether they want to work there. That isn't always the case. Clearly, your boss got laid off and that happens. But I just feel like it's just kind of like if you were to dumb your resume down a little bit, you could have gotten a job sooner, maybe a job that maybe wasn't as good, but you end up taking a job you end up taking a job in New Braunfels you clearly were overqualified for.
Well, right. Yeah. I mean, I knew that.
But then they realized how awesome you were, and then they like wanted to triple your pay because you told them you were leaving, and then it was too late.
Yeah. Well, and another thing is that people think that it's, there's all this money in the Houston area and stuff. And I mean, there's a lot of people. One of the things they don't understand about this area is that there's more competition than a lot of other places.
A lot of educated people too.
Lots of educated. There's people that get their degree and they don't find a job for years.
I know.
And then they really have to start at the bottom. They're waiting tables trying to find a job. So it's a tough job market. But anyway.
And that's why I advise people, like younger people, I'm always trying to tell them like, hey, make sure you do some research on the degree that you're going to get to see if there's a need. Because if there's not a need, you're not going to get a job. If you go get a business management job or a business administration or business anything, those are the ones I see the most, that they can't get a job and they end up in sales. I went to school for business. It's just not very good most of the time. Not always. There's some people out there that luck out, or they have connections, or they have other experience. But if you're just coming out of college trying to get a job, those jobs, you have all this debt, and then they just don't, even if you find a job, they don't pay very good. You're going to end up working for $40,000 a year, and you have $40,000 or $100,000 in student loans. That doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. So anyway, to get back on track,
okay. You lost me on where we were going with the point. You want my perspective.
Your perspective from the beginning, like why you're on Farmers Only.
Yep.
When we met, and just kind of like how you were feeling, like your story. You mentioned a little bit like you went and got your hair cut at your sister's. Like what brought you back to church? Like you finally went back to church after a long time.
Well, the same word comes back up, desperation, trying to find soul searching. So I'd been working at the farm, since April, the end of April, beginning of May, and just working out of a lot of frustration, and just kind of buried myself in a lot of busy work, a lot of, combine hours and tractor hours and bulldozer hours, and I was just like, and then
drinking in the garden every evening.
Thanks for bringing that up again. Thank you. I'm glad you think that's funny, but anyway,
he doesn't drink a lot, guys. Just FYI, he's not. I've only seen you like buzzed like a couple of times. So.
Just 3 or 4. Anyway, where was that? Oh, I was trying to find, recenter myself while trying to relocate geographically. And my kids had just gone back to their mom. I had just had them for 45 days, and that's always a kind of a letdown in and of itself. So I was just like, I just started praying. And I was like,
it's hard when you're with your kids all the time, and then when they leave.
Yeah, it feels like
emptiness
in your heart. So I kind of hit a low, and I was like, I've got to get closer to them. And I just started praying. And then I was talking to Bridget one day, and I was like, hey, I'm y'all going to church on Sunday? She's like, yeah. I was like, well, can I go with y'all? She's like, yeah. Okay. I'll see you there.
Bet that made her day.
Yeah. Well, she got to introduce me to all of her friends and stuff there. And
she's so proud of you.
Yeah. So it sounds kind of corny, and you hear it all the time. You just got to give it to God. And in order to do that, you have to let all of your inhibitions and all of what you think you have control of, you have to let that go. It's not just some simple words that are just going to come together and you just like a light switch.
You really
have to release it, and it's way easier said than done, but you've kind of just recenter. Adjectives aren't really flying off the tongue right now or out of my head right now, but the best way I could describe it is just resetting yourself and understanding that you don't have control of everything, and you're just going to have to let a higher power kind of speak to you. What's that?
We don't have control of anything. It's our own decisions. Our own actions.
Yeah, we get fooled by the free will thing. But
yeah, we're supposed to give everything to God.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was a tipping point and a learning lesson for me, because once I did that, then, hours later, I was talking to you, and then all of these opportunities, and then everything just kind of flourished from there. So that is kind of a testimonial, if you will, of what I was kind of going through, and then how all the twists and turns come through. And, I say this all the time, is that, you can control a lot of things, but timing's not one of them. And that is probably, if you'll let things happen and kind of pay attention to them and not try to
control.
I mean, and that's,
worry,
I don't even think
fear.
That's really a good, I don't think people try to control their lives and strangle themselves, in certain ways, in social or the business sense. They're just trying too hard. Their grip is way too tight.
I think a lot of people just have fear.
Just figure out, fear, the devil, is what gets into you, and that's his greatest tool, is fear. Mm-hmm. God is love, and the devil's fear. So you have to feed that, the McConaughey thing. You got to feed the good wolf more than the bad wolf. Yeah. So it's not easy to do.
Does it make you think that everything that happened in your life, because that's how I feel, like everything that happened in my life that brought me to that moment was like all his plan?
Yeah, it needs to. And that's part of the discovery of learning how to let it go and give it to him. Mm-hmm. Is all the trials, understanding, and not trying to go dissect and re-sift through everything that you've been through up to any certain point, is so that you can kind of go, okay, and just let go of it, because the past is going to haunt your future if you can't live in the present without looking back too much. Your rearview mirror, you just need to turn that and tear that thing off, throw it out the window, and look forward.
What I like to look at is that all those things that you go through, the hardships, those are your failures, all those things. Those are the things that make you humble. Those are the things that make you appreciate things. Because if we didn't have those things, we'd all be a bunch of arrogant know-it-alls.
Entitled, spoiled.
Yes.
Yeah.
God he does those things and puts us through those things to mold us into what he wants us to be. And I think once you realize that, then it makes a lot of sense, and it's comforting, and you don't have regret, and it can let go of the sadness and the grief.
That's a branch of the school of hard knocks, is that, you're going to get beat down some, but you still have to get up. You still have to figure out how to keep moving.
Get knocked down, but I get up again. Yeah. It's like my theme song.
Get knocked down 9 times, get up 10. You start out on the floor. I've heard people argue about that too. But
that other song?
Just stop overthinking things,
Yeah, that's hard for me.
Get out of your own head.
We played cards the other day, and it was me and Sullivan, which is your oldest, my oldest bonus child. And then his girlfriend, we got to meet his new girlfriend, and they came over and they teamed up. She teamed me and Sullivan up first, and y'all were like, "Oh, that's a terrible. We shouldn't have done that." They both overthink everything. It take us like 10 minutes to play a hand.
Yeah, it's a game of psychological chess before you can even play the game you're.
It's funny because Sullivan and I are so much alike.
Yeah.
Like when we're trying to set up camp or whatever, we're both
headstrong.
We're the oldest child.
Yeah.
We're both the oldest child.
Leaders. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now I'm getting to a point, though, at my age where I don't care anymore, and I'm tired, and I'm glad he's that way, because I'm like, just take it. I don't care. Do what you want.
Well, then you're learning to let go.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes, like when we were setting a camp, like I've camped in that same spot so many times that I know how things have to be set up so we don't have rain coming in the tent and mud and wind and just different things from having it different ways. I've learned, and he doesn't know that, and that's why we got into like a butting heads. And but the cool thing about Sullivan is you can butt heads with him, but 5 minutes later he's hugging on you and laughing.
Yeah, you're the same way. Yeah,
I don't hold a grudge.
Yeah, you gotta get over it.
I don't have the time for that. I don't like to hold a grudge. It just makes me feel icky.
Yeah.
I will hold a grudge against you if you do something really terrible to me. Maybe not such a grudge, but I put my guard up for sure. I shut down.
Right.
But and then I just move on with my life, pretend like you don't exist.
So what else do you want to know about?
So when you got on Farmers Only, what were you doing that day? Like when you messaged me, what were you doing? Like what was your day like? What was that evening like? What were you doing? I was hanging out with my friend Brittany, drinking wine, taking care of Wesley, listening to his house. What were you doing?
I'm archiving right now. I don't know. Might have been hauling hay.
I know y'all have been spraying mesquites
Might
for
have
a
been doing
while
that.
and grubbing them.
No, I wasn't grubbing them. No, I was probably spraying mesquites. Okay, this is what I was doing. I remember now. I was starting to push dirt in his tank in the mornings because it was so blooming hot in our old 1968 dozer would overheat whenever it gets above 100.
Didn't it get stuck down there one time or something?
Yeah. So I would run it until it got hot, and then I would go spray mesquites in the afternoon. So that's what I was doing, and I don't know. I just lots of, that's kind of a mindless job. So just trying to figure out how just stewing on it and just recentering myself. You look like you just got hit by a lightning bolt.
Sorry.
What just happened?
I meant to send him the picture of our cake.
Oh.
After the show.
No, I want you to post it on the show so they can see it. It's hilarious. I'm going to email it to you right now. Okay, so finish telling you. So you were pushing dirt.
Yeah.
And then you go play in the garden and drink some beer with Shannon and Shakia, get in the pool. What did you do? Because your trailer was right next to the pool. It was very convenient. You get off work, pop a beer, jump in the pool.
Yeah, that's
the garden was right there.
So my routine was, you done with your squirrel?
Oh, keep talking. I'm going to email this to him really quick.
Okay. So, yeah, that was my routine. Bulldozer in the morning, spray mesquites in the evening, and I would probably, I don't know, I'd do that until I was just too hot. Then I would usually go put my swim trunks on, jump in the pool, and yes, my RV was probably about 25 yards from the pool. And Shannon would do the same thing. That's my brother. And my sister-in-law, Shakia. We would kind of just, I don't know, there's something about jumping in the pool whenever it was 100 degrees. It just kind of brings your body core temperature down.
And they called
it changes your attitude is what it does.
And they called you Cousin Eddie.
No, yeah, because I was not really cousin, but yeah, I was.
Yeah, because you were living in the RV out in their yard.
Uncle Eddie.
Eddie.
To Sky and Steel.
Yeah, because were they both still living there when you moved in?
Yeah, they were there. They were living there.
Sky hadn't left for college yet. Because she left that fall, I think, for college. No?
No, she took a job that summer.
Okay.
She went to school while she was working. She went
right, but I think she lived with Shane. She didn't live with Shane and Shakia when I started coming there, did she? Mm-hmm. I don't remember now.
Well, I think she had just moved. She had just found that job. She had just taken it.
And now she's married and has a baby.
Yeah.
That's our dog barking. He's out in the foyer with two of the kids. We're on our way to the hill country this weekend to go help out in Kerrville and pick up two other kids. So after the show, we're going to haul butt. Every time you come on the show, we have to leave to go somewhere, like Louisiana, the hill country. Yeah, I never have to do that otherwise.
Who's planning this stuff?
I know. Why are you always planning to do this when we have to leave town?
Gaslighter.
Did you get that picture? Y'all got to see this cake. My friends.
Dick will put it on. He said I'll take care of it.
My friends asked Casey, "What kind of cake, groom's cake, do you want?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, I want a cake from Shakia, of course." And he wanted the Italian cream. And they're like, "What do you want on it?" He said he didn't care. So they said, "Okay, we'll surprise you." And this is what they surprised him with, which is funny because when they put the cake out at the reception, I had a lot of people coming up to me going, I didn't know. And I'm like, what? And they're like, I had no idea that you met your husband on farmersonly.com. And I was like, oh, yeah. I mean, I guess I wasn't running around telling everybody. I was kind of embarrassed. I made fun of so many people for dating people online. I made fun
Well,
of.
it's a revolution. I know a lot of people.
But I was.
And if you really want to think about it, if you've never done it before, it is. And I know you gave your perspective of your experience of it, but there's other websites that are not as. There's not quite that mockery that goes on. So there's Match and Christian Mingle. I don't know. I haven't been on Christian Mingle, but you can tell.
You didn't get on Christian Mingle? Isn't that like for Christians? How is it, Dick? Have you been on there? Christian Mingle? No? Have you been on any of them?
Oh, I've been on the Jewish one.
Jewish? Are you Jewish?
Yeah.
Oh, why?
Looking for a Jewish girl.
Like a rich Jewish girl? Daddy's money? Makes sense.
Gotta play the game.
I hope you like big noses. I'm just kidding. Ha ha.
Easy.
Sorry. It's just
But
a
anyway,
joke, people. Don't get all crazy.
I've called it before a window shopping for people, because those bios, you can tell if you read enough of them. You can go, okay, that's bogus.
Oh, I can tell like that on social media in general by people's posts, all kinds of stuff.
It's smarter. It's easier. You get to pare it down. It's like, how did we ever meet partners when we were before social media or all of these websites? You just happen. You want to talk about timing? That's what is daunting for anybody, especially if you have kids and a job and you don't have time to go out. And
did you show the cake? He did. Sorry. So
that squirrel's still in there, isn't it?
Yeah. That cake cracks me up.
You
We
had to
need
get
to
that
frame a
done.
picture of it and put it up in the house. I love that cake. Best cake ever, guys. Thank you. Shakia and Taryn. It was really Shakia and Taryn that did that.
Yeah.
And it was delicious, apparently. I didn't get any, though.
You've eaten it before.
I didn't get that one, though.
Well, so do we talk about, do you want to do, how much time we have, Dick? Trying to space this out a little bit. Did we talk about where we got married and everything?
I don't think so.
So why don't
you want to tell them how we got engaged?
We got 10 minutes for a happy ending. Or ever after.
Sorry.
You got to get your head out of the gutter sometimes, honey. That's not professional.
I'm sorry. I can't help it.
The fairy tale ending. All right, guys, we're going to give her a minute.
My true self just came out.
Yeah. Gutter ball.
Okay, so let's tell them how we got engaged. So we moved into the apartment together. We talked about it on the last show.
Yep.
We moved into the apartment and tried it out with the kids. And it actually was a really small 3-bedroom apartment. It was brand new. It was right on the pool with a balcony. It was in the hill country. It was beautiful. I mean, you couldn't have lived in a better place in an apartment, right? But it was tight with a lot of kids. We had 3 boys in one room and Rose and Sullivan in the other room. And they were little. And then anyway, so we moved to this apartment and it was kind of like a test. Like, if this works.
Moved there in February of 2021. Yeah.
I think we're good, right?
And we did.
It's kind of a test run to see how we would all do together. And the kids just loved each other so much. Like, they got along so well.
And they were before that. They hit them off. But like you said, that was the ultimate test to cohabitate with each other. And it went really well. That was Snowvid 21, so February. So I proposed to you July 20th of 21, and then
tell them how you proposed to me.
I will. And then we got married. I'm trying to put the timeline out so when we talk about it, they kind of know how to follow along. And then we got married December 20th of 21. So I proposed. It was our 1-year anniversary of dating, or meeting, rather. Mm-hmm. Dating, meeting, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, so we went I had a surprise dinner date at Eddie V's in San Antonio, which wasn't very good. Did we talk about this in the first one?
Mm-mm.
No.
It smelled weird in there.
Yeah, it was like an older. It wasn't very clean. It wasn't very good. Anyway, we don't talk about the food. It wasn't very good. What did we do after that?
You were going to take me somewhere, but then you were like, I guess you were so bummed about how dinner turned out. We ended up just going back to the apartment, I think.
No, we went to we went to a bar of a friend of yours. Remember?
That was on our first date when we went to that Italian restaurant. That's over there, way over there in La Cantera area. That's in, his bar is in, what is that little town between Bernie and San Antonio?
Don't know.
Leon Springs.
Oh. Well, maybe we did just go right
Wallace Harding, shout out to you. That was our first date. We went to your place. You weren't even there.
We didn't go anywhere after Eddie V's?
No, we were like bummed out. You were going to take me somewhere, but you were like, oh, I don't even know where, because you didn't know, you weren't familiar with the area at all.
Yeah,
and I think you didn't know where to take me. And I think you were bummed about how dinner turned out because you were going to propose to me somewhere around there. You thought Eddie V's had like a courtyard or something. I remember you explained to me, you were like, I was going to propose to you over here, but it didn't really work out. Anyway, we went back to the apartment.
Yeah, we were we went back to the apartment. We were on the balcony, and
I was standing out there.
Yeah, we were talking about all kinds of stuff. I think we'd had a few drinks too.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember what were we talking about?
Who
I kind of
knows?
just dropped it on you. It was like I got like down on one knee and just asked you to marry me.
You did. Like I had already changed. I was in these raggedy clothes and
Yeah, you had your pajamas on.
And you're like, what did you say?
Well, I didn't want to miss the opportunity, and
Do you remember what you said?
I underestimate the cheap drunk part of you sometimes, and I'm like, got to do that early, I guess.
Do you remember what you said?
Tell me.
I remember what you said.
Yeah, then tell me.
You don't remember?
I don't guess.
You said, I know you told me that, I had to wait at least a year, but I couldn't wait one more day.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh
No, I
my
remember.
God. And I started crying.
Yeah.
You're so cute. It was just really sincere. It wasn't, a big thing. You didn't have photographers. And, every girl thinks that they want this, like, letters in the sky or some guy to jump out of a plane or, some crazy
Spectacular.
proposal
Yeah.
with a bunch of people around and have a photographer. And I know people do that, and that's fine. I'm a different girl. I liked that it was private and that it was sincere and that it was in the moment. And I love when things go wrong and then, it's like all the rom-com movies I watch when
It's like a rescue story.
you have to have like the peak,
Unintended.
Yeah, you have to have like some kind of tribulation.
You got to
or
taint it a
trial.
little bit for it to actually turn out right.
Yeah, you got to have a peak. And so that way you can get to the climax, And so it was perfect. But we wanted to, wanted to do something in front of the kids.
You ended up saying yes.
I said yes, of course.
To
said
finish
absolutely.
Off. And then we wanted to do it in front of the kids. So one Sunday after church.
And you picked that place.
One place, yeah. So one day after church, we got into the Tahoe when we went up to Old Baldy around Wimberley. And we hiked up there to the top, and then I proposed to you there. Kind of a reenactment.
In front of all the kids. And you had the kids'
kids.
video, and
Yeah.
Jaron took pictures, and we got some pictures of the kids. It was cool that the kids got to be there. And then we just went back this summer to Old Baldy. We took the kids.
Yeah,
and
we
it's
hiked
funny.
it
We
again.
took a picture, and they were so much bigger.
Yeah, they're so much bigger.
They're like twice the size.
So then after the proposal, we start trying to figure out where we're going to get married. And we finally settled on the best thing to do would be just to drive out to Big Bend.
Yes, because it was COVID, and I kept wanting to fly. Like Georgia did these really cool tree houses, and then they had, I wanted to go to Oregon, maybe do it on the beach.
And then we were also
Crater
talked about
Lake,
going to
Tahoe.
Arizona.
Arizona to Sedona.
or Flagstaff or doing something like
Yeah.
that. So we ended up going to
But we couldn't fly anywhere.
no. And
We're like, where can we drive? That's really cool.
so
And how did we find that place? Did you find that? I think you mentioned it.
yeah,
And then I
Terlingua.
was like, yes,
Because
I love that place.
It reminded me of what we were trying to accomplish in Arizona, kind of a desert landscape type deal. So we settled on Terlingua.
Yeah.
We ended up getting an Airbnb. Your coworker got ordained as a minister. She met us out there, and we got married right in the outskirts or right beside it, if you've ever been there, to Santa Elena Canyon. So
and we had the best photographer, Kylie. I can't remember her name, Kylie. And her husband and you knew like the same people, and but her pictures were so incredible.
Yeah, we went out. Well, we left early and drove out to my friend's ranch on the 101 in between Marfa and Alpine, and spent 3 or 4 days there.
It snowed.
Yeah, it snowed there.
They have 80-something thousand acres there. Is that right?
Yeah.
It was crazy. We drove around for like 3 hours, and it was just like not even roads. Like we're just driving around like in the
ranch roads, rough.
It was very rough.
Marble quarry.
It was so fun.
All kinds of stuff.
Cree is his friend. He's kind of a big deal. He was in a photography, famous French photographer, did a coffee table book. We have a copy, and he's on the cover, and he's in a bunch of the photos, which was crazy because when we went, I didn't know that, and I took a bunch of photos and wanted to make a coffee table book, and then he was like, "Oh, I've already been. I'm a big deal," and I was like, oh.
And that was one that Bridget actually had in her house that we looked at. And I told you that was my friend Cree.
You're like, that's my friend Cree. And she had it on her table. That's is that how we found out about it?
Yes.
Oh, because when we went on our honeymoon.
I don't remember the timeline. I don't know if that was before or after. I think that was before. That
was so crazy too, that your sister had a copy of it, didn't even know he was your friend.
Yeah.
And then we're at her house. It's just the connections that you have with people are just freakishly weird. People walk up to you all the time. They're like, I think I know you. Are you famous? I think I know you. They're like, hey. And I'm like, everywhere was it last night? Somebody did that. And I'm like, yeah, probably everybody knows him.
And sometimes they do, or they might know somebody.
But he literally goes nowhere. So he's not like me. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, we went to the Santa Elena Canyon, and then we went to Marfa for our honeymoon.
The Starlight Cafe.
Oh yeah,
where we had our reception.
Dinner. Yeah, had dinner
our
after
4-person reception.
It was an elopement, so it's small. It has that goat in there.
Mm-hmm.
We had a good time.
We stayed at a really cool Airbnb that was right amazing. On the edge of this hill.
So, had a bathtub outside in the back.
Now I see a lot of my friends are going out in there getting married, so I guess that's kind of a
the
thing
new
now.
Hotspot.
Yeah, a new hotspot. They were actually under construction to build a bunch of Airbnbs. So Terlingua has a strange ambiance or aura about it, but it's a cool place. So Big Bend, we went hiking,
horseback riding. I almost died.
Yeah, she thinks she almost died.
The horse tried to eat a plant on the side of the cliff and started sliding off the cliff, and I had to.
She always draws the old nag.
Rude.
What?
I draw the old nag.
Yeah, I'm not being rude to you. I'm rude to the horse. They always give you the old nag.
Yes, they do.
They're not actually
every
drawing
time.
It out of a
we just
hat.
went again in Puerto Vallarta, and I got this old.
You drew the old nag again.
The horse. I want to eat everything. I'm like, and they always give you the big, beautiful, strong, well-behaved horse. I'm like, why do I get this little?
You just got to tell them you've ridden before. I guess. I don't know. Maybe.
It's because you're a man.
Anyway, so after that elopement, we had a reception in Fisher, Texas.
At Fisher Hall.
At Fisher Hall.
Which is what I found out after we did that. Bridget's like, oh yeah, Justin's grandparents met there. And I'm like, why do we keep having all these connections?
Yeah, so this is March 5th of 2022. Yeah, so that was kind of the crown jewel of everything, the putting all of our families together. And
yeah, because we lost your dad 2 days after the reception. His mom had to take off the next day, and but it was kind of almost perfect timing too, because he was suffering, And I know it's hard on the family, especially your mother. But I was just so grateful that it didn't happen during or before. Or,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of, it's like he waited,
Yeah.
you know? So it was cool that I got to at least get to know him a little bit before, you know, for at least a little while. He's a pretty funny guy. One time he got into the Shakia's cake and I walked outside and he's sitting on a chair and he has 2 handfuls. He just walked into the kitchen, I guess, and grabbed 2 big he had big hands. He's like 6'3" or something, right? He just grabbed 2 handfuls of cake and walked outside and was sneaking it like a little kid. He had it all over his face and his shirt, and he was just eating it out of his. I walked out there, and he just started grinning like a little kid. Yeah. Like he just got busted. It was the cutest thing I ever. I wish so bad I had a video or a picture of that because it was just such a awesome moment.
Once a man, twice a child. He was doing his smash cake.
It was so funny. Yeah. Or that time that he hit on me, that was awkward. When I don't know if he was really hitting on me, but he's a little flirty guy, I guess. And you and your mom had already gone out to the car, and I think I was typing a contract up, and he was sitting in his chair, and I guess y'all went out there to do some stuff, and we're gonna come back and get him. And I was like,
we were getting ready to go.
Yeah, and y'all were both gone though, and I looked up and I was like, did they leave us? And he goes, I hope so. But he looked at me and like kind of winked, and I was like, Casey? It was cute.
He would always have wisecracks or something like that. He had good timing.
And that time we stood out there with Lynn and told jokes next to the garage with him, and he was telling all those jokes.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy. I'm so glad I got to see that before he was gone. Yeah. I wish you had got to meet my grandparents. That would have been awesome because he was so much like my granddaddy.
Yeah. Old souls.
Yeah. My granddaddy was a little more straight and narrow on the Baptist side, but very similar. But anyway, well, that's our story, guys.
Is that it? Is that a wrap?
I think so. I think it's.
Is there anything else we left out?
It's time for us to get on the road. Can you think of anything? You were going to say something maybe about something. I don't know. Something about something about something. There's so many stories. There's so many crazy connections. You know that cliche phrase, you know when you know?
Yeah.
I thought that was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard. And
when you know, you know.
Yeah.
I'm talking
people
about
would say,
love.
you know when you know. Like,
you'll know when you know.
And I just thought, these people are so fake. Because I was in a bad relationship, and ours was very fake on the outside compared to what it was on the inside.
Yeah, so, it's different when you don't have a shell of a partner.
I just thought everybody was
I'll tell you one thing, guys. Whenever I did come into her life, and all of her friends, and even I saw it because afterwards, and I didn't know you before, obviously, but the smile on your face. Like would be driving down the road, and I'd just look over, and she's looking at me with a big old bright shiny smile, and so I could tell that she was happy. So that's kind of when you know too. That's very dynamic and falling in love with somebody.
We were really giddy that first year.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. And then life.
You're not still giddy?
Sometimes I'm just tired. We have a lot of children, and it wears me out.
We have a lot of excuses.
And I'm getting older, too.
We have a lot of excuses.
Yeah, like buttholes. Hey, one more thing. Dick, real quick, can you show that photo I just emailed you? This is the first picture Casey ever sent me.
Got put on the spot again, Dick.
Sorry, I was going to tell him earlier. I forgot. This is the first picture Casey ever sent me. And this is when he was, I guess, pushing dirt in the tank because you're real dirty.
Oh my gosh, you're going to put that picture
I love that picture. It's my background. This
is an open air dozer with...
Yeah, the dozer's not in it, just you.
No, I know.
Your face is dirty.
Yeah,
you look like you just came out of a coal mine.
Well, that's what happens when you sweat and there's dust.
I saw that picture and I was like, that's the man of my dreams. I love a man that can get dirty. I like to get dirty. Anyway, thanks, guys. We really appreciate y'all listening to us. Yeah. Casey's going to come on again. Yeah, and he is going to talk about
part 2 of sustainable ranching. Maybe I'll run through some scenarios and kind of premeditate. You know, it's kind of the subject is so broad that I can narrow some things down.
Yeah, we just really need to give them like a platform, like a beginner's guide. Education. Yeah. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for always listening and being my favorite people. There's our dog. I think it's time for us to get out
That's
of
our
here.
calling card.
That is. All
Bye-bye.
right, man. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.